Imagine waking up one morning and your bank is just gone. Your life savings, gone. You go to work and the factory is locked. You go home and your neighbor is loading his entire house into a car because he just lost everything. That was not a nightmare. That was a regular Tuesday in America in 1932. The Great Depression was the worst economic disaster in modern history. It started in 1929 and it did not fully end until 1941. Over 10 years of suffering, and it happened in 7 clear levels. Today we go through all 7. Simple language, real facts, no boring textbook stuff. Let's go. Level 1. The party ends. The 1920s in America were amazing. The economy was booming, and new technology was everywhere. Cars, radios, electric lights. People felt rich and unstoppable, and everybody was playing the stock market. Not just rich people. Your barber had stock tips, your postman had investments, and people were borrowing money just to buy shares. You put down 10%, borrow 90%, the price goes up, and you profit. Easy money. What could go wrong? October 24th, 1929, Black Thursday. Everyone panicked and started selling shares at the same time, and prices crashed. 5 days later, on Black Tuesday, 16 million shares were dumped in one single day. People who had borrowed money to buy stocks now owed more than they owned. Teachers, factory workers, shopkeepers lost everything in a week. The stock market had been inflated way beyond what companies were actually worth. Pure hype, and when the hype burst, it took everyone's savings with it. Borrowing money to buy stocks was called buying on margin. Sounds very professional. It just means betting money you don't actually have on something you can't control. Wall Street gave it a fancy name so nobody would notice that part. The crash was bad. But the crash alone wasn't the Great Depression. The crash was just the spark. What came next is what turned one bad week into a 10-year nightmare. Level 2. The banks fall apart. After the crash, people panicked about their savings, so everyone ran to the bank at the same time to take their money out. Every single person, all at once. Here's the problem. Banks don't keep your money sitting in a vault. They lend most of it out to other people. That's how banking works. The system only functions if not everyone asks for their money back simultaneously. When everyone did, the banks ran out of cash, and when they ran out, they collapsed. Between 1930 and 1933, over 9,000 banks in America failed. 9,000. Most of them were small local banks where ordinary families kept their savings. A farmer with 20 years of savings in the bank, a family saving for their kids, gone. No insurance, no protection. When the bank died, your money died too. It got so bad that in 1933, the new president literally ordered every single bank in America to shut for 4 days just to stop the panic. They called it a bank holiday. Holiday, as in fun, relaxing, maybe a beach. What it actually meant was the entire U.S. banking system is about to completely collapse, and we need 96 hours to stop it. When banks stop, money stops moving. Businesses can't pay workers, shops can't buy stock, and nothing works. And that breakdown is what caused Level 3. Level 3. Everything starts collapsing. Here's how a real economic collapse works. Businesses need customers with money. When customers have no money, they stop spending. When spending stops, businesses lose income. When businesses lose income, they fire workers. When workers lose jobs, they stop spending, which destroys more businesses, which fires more workers. Round and round with no bottom. That's exactly what happened from 1930 to 1932. Industrial production dropped by 47%. Almost half of everything being manufactured in America just stopped. The whole U.S. economy shrank by 30%, and international trade fell by 70%. Exports dropped from $5.2 billion in 1929 to just $1.7 billion in 1933. Unemployment tells the human story. In 1929, 3 million people were unemployed. By 1930, 4 million. By 1931, 8 million. And by 1932, 12.5 million.
In some cities, it was even worse. Toledo, Ohio hit 80% unemployment. Lowell, Massachusetts hit 90%. 9 out of 10 people in those cities had no job, no income, nothing. These weren't lazy people. They were ordinary workers. The jobs just ceased to exist. The government's advice to unemployed people in 1931? Grow your own vegetables. In 1931, with no land, no seeds, and no money, solid plan, real helpful stuff. By the end of 1932, around 60 million Americans had been directly affected, and the worst point still hadn't arrived yet. That's Level 4. Level 4. Rock bottom. March 1933. This is the very bottom. This is as bad as it got. In every major city, bread lines stretched down entire blocks. Former business owners, former managers, former teachers, standing outside in the cold for hours just to get a bowl of soup and a piece of bread. One soup kitchen in Chicago was feeding 1,500 people every single day just to stop them from starving. People who couldn't pay rent got evicted. They built shelters out of scrap wood, cardboard, whatever they could find on empty land at the edge of cities. These shack villages popped up everywhere. They were called Hoovervilles, named after President Herbert Hoover, who people blamed for not doing enough. The biggest one was in Central Park in New York City. Thousands of people living in cardboard shacks in the middle of the most famous park in America. At the worst point, 12.8 million Americans had no job. That's 1 in every 4 workers. And the workers who still had jobs had seen their wages cut by 42% since 1929. People weren't just struggling, they were barely surviving. None of it was good. And then, just when you think it genuinely cannot get worse, nature decided to show up. Level 5. Then nature made it worse. While city workers stood in bread lines, farmers in the middle of America were being destroyed by the Depression too. Then a massive drought hit the Great Plains: Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, Colorado. Here's what made it catastrophic. Through the 1920s, farmers had been plowing the land so aggressively to grow more crops that all the natural grass holding the soil together was gone. When the drought dried everything out, there was nothing keeping the earth in place. The wind picked it up. Walls of dirt called black blizzards rose thousands of feet high and rolled across entire states. Midday turned pitch black. Dust buried farms, buried cars, and got inside sealed homes. Animals choked. Children developed lung disease from breathing nothing but dirt. One storm in 1935 picked up Oklahoma soil, carried it 2,000 miles across the whole country, and dropped it into the Atlantic Ocean. Over 400,000 people packed everything they owned into cars and drove west on Route 66, hoping to find farm work in California. They were called Okies, an insult. Most arrived to find barely paid work, roadside shanty towns, and more misery. John Steinbeck wrote about their journey in The Grapes of Wrath. It won the Pulitzer Prize because the suffering in it was completely real. So at this point we have an economy destroyed, 9,000 banks gone, 12 million unemployed, and now the actual ground is blowing away across 3 states. Level 6 is where someone with actual power finally decided to do something. Level 6. The government finally acts. March 4th, 1933. Franklin Roosevelt becomes president. The country is at its lowest point. Banks are closed, a quarter of workers have no job, and people are living in shack cities in Central Park. His first speech, he said the famous line, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Then he moved faster than any president before or since. Day 2 in office, he shut every bank in America for 4 days, inspected which ones were actually safe, reopened those, and permanently closed the broken ones. Public trust in banks came back almost immediately. Then he created the FDIC, which insures your bank deposits. Right now, today, if your bank collapses, the government protects your money up to a certain amount. Before 1933, nothing like that existed. It was born directly from watching people lose their life savings when 9,000 banks failed.
Then the government started hiring people directly. The Works Progress Administration employed 8.5 million people, building roads, schools, bridges, and hospitals. The Civilian Conservation Corps put 3 million young unemployed men to work in national forests. The government became the employer when nobody else was. Then, in 1935, Social Security. For the first time ever, retired Americans would receive regular payments from the government. That program still exists today, and it came directly from the Great Depression. Roosevelt used to give radio broadcasts called fireside chats, just talking to ordinary Americans in calm, plain language like a normal human being. In 1933, a president speaking to regular people clearly and respectfully was considered so unusual that newspapers wrote about it as if it was a revolutionary new idea. The bar was genuinely on the floor. The New Deal didn't end the Depression overnight, but it stopped the freefall, and it built the safety net the whole modern world still uses. Level 7 is the long, messy road back. Level 7, the long road back. By 1937, things were actually improving. Unemployment was down from 25% to around 14%, and hope was returning. Roosevelt's team decided the crisis was basically over and cut government spending to balance the budget. Within months, the economy crashed again. Another recession. Unemployment jumped back up, and it got its own name, the Recession of 1937.
The lesson was painful and clear. The economy wasn't healed. It had been on life support, and someone switched the machine off too early. Full recovery didn't come until 1942. And here's the uncomfortable truth. It wasn't a government program that finished the job. It was World War II. When America entered the war, every factory was suddenly running 3 shifts a day, making planes, tanks, ships, and weapons. Millions of men joined the military. Millions of women entered the workforce. Unemployment didn't just fall, it completely disappeared. The country that couldn't find work for 12 million people in 1933 had a labor shortage by 1943. The Great Depression ran from 1929 to 1941, over a decade, and it permanently changed everything. The FDIC protecting your savings, Social Security, stock market regulation, labor rights, minimum wage, every one of these things was either created or completely reshaped by the Depression. It didn't just cause suffering, it forced a broken system to rebuild itself from scratch. So the cure for the worst economic disaster in modern history turned out to be the second worst disaster in modern history. A world war fixed the unemployment problem, a devastating solution to an already devastating problem. But here we are. Let's recap all 7 levels fast. Level 1, the party ends. The stock market crashes in 1929 and borrowed money disappears overnight. Level 2, the banks fall. Over 9,000 banks collapse and life savings are gone with no insurance. Level 3, the spiral. Production drops by 47%, 12.5 million people are unemployed, and everything contracts. Level 4, rock bottom. 1 in 4 workers are jobless, leading to breadlines and Hoovervilles by March 1933. Level 5, the Dust Bowl. A massive drought destroys farmland and 400,000 people leave the Great Plains. Level 6, the New Deal. Roosevelt acts, creating the FDIC, Social Security, and hiring 8.5 million people. Level 7, the road back. A slow recovery leads to a relapse in 1937, with full employment finally arriving in 1942. The real lesson. The Great Depression didn't happen because of one bad decision. It was a chain reaction. A stock market running on borrowed money, banks with no protection for ordinary people, a government that was too slow to act, and a drought that crushed farmers who were already finished. Each level made the next one worse. And here's the thing that actually matters today. Almost every financial protection that exists between you and total disaster right now did not exist before 1929. Your bank deposits are insured because of the Depression. Social Security exists because of it. The stock market is regulated because of it. These weren't gifts, they were lessons, paid for by a decade of suffering by millions of people who did nothing wrong except live in the wrong decade.
The same warning signs that built the Great Depression, too much debt, too much speculation, too little protection, showed up again in 2008 and again in 2020. History keeps sending the same memo. The only question is whether enough people read it. Now you have. Drop in the comments which level shocked you the most. I read every single one. If this taught you something, smash the like. It costs nothing. Subscribe for new signals every week. See you at the next level.